A very good morning, friends. We are back to our classes, and I hope that whatever we have covered last few classes, you are clear with it, and hope you have understood because so far we have already covered 3 units, and today we'll continue with the production unit, and I'll try my best to finish this unit today, and then after we'll switch over to the next unit, that is the cost. Before I begin my today's session, let me wish you a very happy Rath Yatra, and today is an auspicious day for all of us because we all over the world we are very aggressively and interestingly watching the holy Rath Yatra, but unfortunately the devotees could not be included today, but still then the rituals are being carried on, and we can see at our home sitting in the television sets. So once again, happy Rath Yatra. May Lord Jagannath bless you all. Okay, now let us start with us today's session. Now dear friends, see last few classes we have been just recall that what we did in our last class. See in our last class I have started with the concept of production, that is we are talking about the next unit, third unit, that is production. So before I continue with the class today, let me just brief you that what we have covered still so far, because I think that if you have strong memory, you must be remembering what we have covered, but still then for your revision, for a quick recap, let me discuss what we have covered. Okay, now last few classes what we have tried to discuss is, we have tried to discuss production meaning. Okay, just I'll give you a hint like what we have tried to discuss. We have tried to discuss what is production. What is production? Production is nothing but it is a process whereby the raw materials or the raw inputs are converted into the final product or the final output. So here there are two processes. One is input, that is output. And there is a processing system. The processing system is facilitated with the help of machines, technology, techniques, people, everything, and finally after the processing is over, what comes out is the output or the final product. So this is what I had discussed with you, that production is a simple process whereby the raw material. Now take for example, what are the raw materials? Suppose we are talking about a garment industry, the raw material could be the threads, okay, because for garment threads are like for weaving the garments or clothes, threads are required. So thread may be considered as a input. Are you getting my point? And processing is the weaving process, like with the help of machines, technique, weaving process is going on. And finally the output is the cloth. What is the material of the cloth? What is the texture? What kind of cloth? Whether it is, we are talking about a cotton fabric or we are talking about polyester or satin. So that is a final output or product. So that is what is production. Now we have also completed our discussion regarding the factors of production. If you remember, factors of production we have discussed. Now what we have discussed? We have discussed the factors of production are many times, like what are the factors? Land is a factor of production, capital is a factor of production, labor is a capital factor of production, and the most important we have discussed is land. Now how land? Now I have told you that land as a factor of production is actually a natural gift of nature. It is plentifully available in the nature, and if you look around we have plenty of land available. But again the fertility of land may differ, and one of the important characteristics of this factor is it is immobile in nature, that is we cannot move. And next is, if you make use of the land again and again, then it has a diminishing return. That means the utility of the land may decrease. So land as one of the greatest factor of production has lot of uses, but still the characteristics are that it is immobile, efficiency differs, it has a diminishing value, may diminish, and it differs in fertility. And another important thing is, we are talking about land which is also having limited supply. Although wherever you look around you see the land, but again the supply is limited because, why? Because 3/4 of the portion is covered with water, and whatever portion is left, we have buildings and other things. So that is land. Second, I have told you that labor. Okay, labor is the second most important factor of production. Now what is labor? Labor stands for your physical or mental labor which you are giving in order to give an output. But again, when we were discussing about labor, I have told you the characteristics of labor, that labor, the supply of labor may differ from time to time or from place to place, and labor is perishable in nature. These things we have already discussed, and a labor is inseparable from the laborer. That means the labor is inseparable from the person itself, and the labor may differ from person to person. That means the efficiency of labor may differ from one person to person. Why? Because maybe we are talking about a particular group of labor having a particular skill, but again with the same skill also the efficiency might differ, because efficiency depends upon many factors like your physical wellness, then your mental awareness. So these are the factors which again have an impact on efficiency. So labor is inseparable from the laborer. The efficiency may differ, it is perishable in nature, and the supply of labor may differ from place to place and time to time. So this is what are the characters we have discussed of labor. Then come to the next we have discussed is capital. Capital here means what is exactly is capital is the amount of money that we are investing for a process like production. Now when we are talking about production as a process, we have to invest money in terms of buying machineries, buildings, infrastructure, technology, paying to the labor, all these things are included. So capital plays a very vital role in the entire process of production. Without capital, you cannot run the organization or the production process. So again I have told you what are the functions, like what are the main functions of capital. Just I will give you a brief account. The functions of capital is, if you have capital, it improves your process of production. Like we can talk about the functions. Functions are, number one is, because of capital you can improve the productivity or you can enhance the process of production. Why? Because when you have ample capital with you, or when you are having sufficient capital with you, you can invest money. Like you can buy new machineries, you can go for best raw materials, you can go for best technology, so that improvises the process of production or productivity. Another important thing of capital is, when you have capital, you can provide better facilities. Like facilities can be many, and you can make better payments for the factors of production, like when you are, suppose you are going to buy land, or suppose you are going to get the supply of labor. So if your capital is balanced, or if you are having sufficient capital, then the entire production process will be smooth. So this is what we had discussed in our last class. I told you about the concept of production, then we discuss about the factors of production. Now today let us discuss that another important term which is there in your chapter, that is entrepreneur. Who is an entrepreneur? Now see, this term you might have heard this term, entrepreneur, and talking about an entrepreneur, who is an entrepreneur? See, exactly if you try to define the meaning of entrepreneur, entrepreneur is actually a person who invests money for the particular process, okay, or who organizes the entire setup, okay, or the organization invests money, does the production work, gets the output to gain some kind of benefit. Entrepreneur can be any person who can invest money for a business purpose or for a business work. So so we can define who is an entrepreneur is a person, okay, who organizes, I will just note it down, who organizes the process of production, okay, the process of production, okay, by investing money Okay, what he does? Investing money and managing. He also manages. Remember that an entrepreneur also manages the organization. Okay, so who is an entrepreneur? See, if you see again the definition, entrepreneur is a person who organizes the process of production by investing money and manages the organization. Now, entrepreneur can be any person who is having the ability, having skill, idea, innovative thinking. Even nowadays, government is facilitating or government is encouraging the youth people to become a entrepreneur. That means to start your own business. Now you must have heard the word startup. So startup is a very buzzing word nowadays, because see, as you see nowadays, I'll give you just an information that jobs are already saturated in the market. So instead of running after a job, it is better if you start your own business. Suppose you feel that you have a better idea in the field of agriculture, or you have some idea in the field of manufacturing sector or in hospital sector, whatever may be your interest areas, you can be your own entrepreneur, you can start your own business organization. So that is what an entrepreneur is we are talking about. Now why we are discussing the word entrepreneur here is because we are talking about the very important process, that is production. Now in production, actually the entrepreneur is a person who not only invests money, means he will invest money for the process of production, to hire land, to get the raw materials, to initiate the process. But again, he is also a person who tries to manage the thing, like how the things will go on, how to manage the labor, how to manage the different factors of production. So he has to take care of that. That means he is managing those things also. So he is an entrepreneur. Now next, I hope it's clear this term. So please remember, who is an entrepreneur? Entrepreneur can be any person who invests the capital for a process of production or for a process, and not only he invests money, but he is a person who takes the interest, manages the process, and his basic aim or objective is to get the best production or the best output. Is it clear? Now let us discuss some of the production functions. Okay. Now see, I have told you what is production. Now we have already discussed that production is nothing but it is a process whereby the raw materials are being converted to the final product or final output. Now let us discuss what are the important functions of production. Okay, functions of production. Now coming to functions of production. Now we are telling that every organization is into some kind of process, or every organization is into a process of production. That means what? Something is being produced using the raw materials, using the machineries, using the techniques. Something is produced to give the final outcome, that is the product. Okay, product may be anything that once the product is done, it goes to the market and we purchase the product and make use of it. So that is how the entire system of economics runs. That is starting from production, transportation and consumption. These three terms you have to always keep in mind, that the entire economic activity rests on these three words: production, transportation and consumption, or distribution and consumption. Is it clear? So now let us just have a look on what are the functions of production. Now see, production functions can be divided into two different categories. One is the short term or short period, you can say, period. Another is long term or long period. Okay. So we are now going to discuss that the production function can be broadly discussed under two different headings. What are the two different headings? One is your short term or short period production functions. Another is a long term or long period production function. Now in your short term, coming first to the short term period function, we have two different types of function. That is, one is for fixed variable. Okay, fixed variable or fixed, like we can say fixed variable, and next is the variable factor. So we have two things, variable, I'll just explain you. What are the two factors? Okay. So first let us discuss the short term period. Now I have told you the functions of productions are divided into two types. That is short term or short period function. Another is a long term or long period function. Now what are short term or short period function? Short term and short period functions are again divided in two categories. One is the fixed variable and another is variable factor. Now fixed variable means what? See, fixed variable, like your land is a fixed variable. Okay, I told you land, why is fixed variable? Because land is something which cannot be moved. Then you can say building. Building is a fixed variable, cannot be moved. So when we are talking about the production function, we are saying that production function is again divided into short term and long term, where short term functions is again divided into fixed variable function and variable factor function. Now what are fixed variable function? Fixed variable function, we are talking about things like land and building, because see, land and building, okay, they are fixed variable because they cannot move. They are immobile in nature. They cannot be moved from one place to another. So we are saying land and building are the fixed variable. So short term period functions are again categorized into this fixed variable function considering land and building, and another part is your variable factor. Variable factor could be what? Just guess. Your variable factor could be raw materials. Okay, raw materials. Okay, or it could be labor. Please try to understand why we are saying that this is a fixed variable. Fixed variable can be land, building, but your what? Variable factor could be raw material and labor. Now what is the difference actually? See, when we are saying fixed variable is that factor of production which is fixed. That means cannot move or immobile, like land, building, sometimes machineries also. But when we are talking about the variable factor means which can be varied or changes can be, whether it's raw material, labor. So they are not fixed, they are variable factors. So production function is can be discussed under this short term period and long term. Long term period means the same function, but we are talking about a gap of suppose 20-30 years. So this is a long term function. Okay. So I hope it is clear. So what we have tried to discuss is the production functions are divided in two types. One is your short term period function and long term period function. Short term period functions means for a short day, say for 5 years, 6 years. But when we are talking a long term period function, it is more than something which we are discussing 10 years, beyond 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. But again under short term period function or short term period or term, we are discussing two types of function. That is one function which is focusing on the fixed variable like land, building, hiring of land, then getting the infrastructure ready, then making the building. All these things will come under short term and fixed variable. The second, that is short term and variable factor, could be your labor, say supply of labor, because supply of labor varies. Okay, how it varies? Depending upon the type of production process, depending upon the nature of work. So the supply of labor may change from time to time and from place to place. Because always the supply of labor may not be constant, or always it may not be very high, or always it may not be less. So it depends upon the time, nature of the job, type of production, what you are actually into. So all these factors determine. So your production function is long term and short term. Please remember this. Is it clear? Okay. Now next we will discuss a very important topic. Okay. What is that topic is? It's a very important law in fact, or a very important concept which we have to discuss under the theory of production. Now that is law of variable proportion. Just law of variable proportion. Okay, so we are going to discuss another important concept, or you can say another important law, that is law of variable proportion. Now before we discuss the law of variable proportion, Now what is law of variable? See, actually the law of variable, first try to know this law of variable proportion was given by Alfred Marshall. Okay, so the person who has given this theory or who has propagated or proposed this theory, a very important theory under the production process, is law of variable proportion. Now let us first try to understand what it is. See, the law of variable proportion actually explains the relationship between inputs and outputs, okay, within a short period of time. Just I will put the definition. It explains the relationship, between inputs and outputs in a short period. So please try to just understand these lines. What are these lines saying? Actually law, see, this is a particular law of variable proportion. Variable means which is not constant, that you know. Now what does actually the law of variable proportion explain? The law of variable proportion actually tries to explain what is the relationship between input and output in a short period. Now what are the inputs? I have already told you. Inputs may be your raw materials, input may be your machines, these may be your input, okay. Now what is the output? Output is the final product. So in this particular concept or in this particular law, we are going to understand that what will be the relation, like suppose, for example you take, suppose we increase the inputs, okay. Now what will be the impact on output? We can study that. Or suppose we are changing the inputs, what will be the impact on output? Or suppose we are decreasing the input, what will be the impact on output? So this kind of relationship can be understood or studied or elaborated through the law of variable proportion. So according to the law, output can be changed. Now you can just put it down. I'll just put it. So what does it explain is, according to this law, okay, according to this law, which is the law? We are talking of law of variable proportion. According to this law, output can be, please remember, what does the law say? This output can be changed, output can be changed by changing some of the factors, some of the factors, okay, factors, while other factors will remain constant. While, just put it down, I'll explain you. While other factors remain constant. Okay, just have a look on the definition. See, we are now discussing a very important law of production, that is a law of variable proportion. Now the law of variable, please keep in mind that the law of variable proportion is actually trying to explain what is the relationship of input with output. That means I just can tell you that what will happen if input is increased, or what will happen if input is decreased, or what will happen if some of the factors we are changing. Suppose we are changing some of the factors of input, then what will be its impact or result on output. Now say for example, suppose raw material is an input. Suppose we are changing the input, that is raw material, okay. Suppose we are getting a very high quality raw material, that is an input. Now if we are getting a very high quality raw material, what will be its impact on output? Now definitely if your raw material is highly, we are getting from a very better source and your raw material is of high quality, definitely the product or the input that will be getting at the end will be of also high quality. Are you getting my point? So the law of variable proportion exactly explains you the relationship between input and output in a short period. Now if you look at the definition as given by Alfred Marshall, he clearly says that according to this law, output can be changed. See, he is telling that output can be changed by changing some of the factors while other factors remain constant. That means if you want to have a better output, or if you are desiring for a best output, some of the factors of input or some of the factors can be changed accordingly, keeping in mind that the other factors are remaining constant. So that means what? Output is subjected to change, or output can be changed according to your desire, but by changing some of the factors. So if we are changing some of the factors, we will have a change in the output also. For example, suppose I want to have the best output. For example, we are talking about a garment industry, or then we will see that we want to get the best clothing, best kind of fabric. Now if you want to get the best kind of fabric, you have to look for the best quality of thread or best quality of yarn. So if you are getting the best quality of thread and yarn, and you are improvising, or you are giving some more importance to the technology part. Suppose I am using some latest machineries, or I am using some machines which are of high quality, or which are of quality which will give me the best product. So what happens? Along with your best quality input, along with your technology, along with your technique, you finally get the output which is of the number one type. Number one type means it is the best output. So according to law of variable proportion, it clearly and very satisfactorily explains that output can be changed by changing some of the factors while other factors remain constant. Hope I got you got the point, you got the explanation. Now I will just explain a little bit further. Further we will explain that. Again, it is an increase in the amount. Like, see, I am telling you that what we have still far understood is input can be made change. Like if I am interested to get the best output, then I have to make some substantive changes, some kind of noticeable changes, some kind of better changes to output, to inputs. Now inputs could be a labor. Labor is an input. So what I can do is I can hire some skillful labor. Just try to understand the law I am trying to explain in a very simple manner. See, we want to get the best output. Okay. I will give you another example. Suppose I am preparing a particular sweet dish at my home. Say, for example, I am preparing gulab jamun. Now, if I am preparing gulab jamun, I need the best quality of that powder for gulab jamun. I require good sugar, quality sugar. I required good quality of oil. Okay, so that I can fry them, and finally I can make the final product, that is our sweet gulab jamun. So what will happen is, if I am trying to increase the quality of suppose instead of using the normal powder, if I am using some high quality or some branded powder for making gulab jamun, then the output may be very good. Why? Because you have used some very good quality branded powder. Are you getting my point? So if I am using some better inputs, or if I am going for inputs that are really good, and I am putting some efforts on the inputs, then the output will definitely be very positive and increase. Like Marshall is trying to say that by improving or by changing the inputs, the outputs can be changed. Now he is emphasizing that if labor, take for example labor. Suppose we are increasing the amount of labor, okay, or the amount of labor has been increased, capital is increased, more investment is done on your machines, your technology, raw material, and then you are also taking care of the technology part. Then what will happen? Your output will definitely increase, because you have tried to improvise on the input part. See, remember, we are talking, there is a very direct relation of input with output. Input with output. If your input is qualitative, then only the output will be qualitative. For example, if a company uses very low category or low quality of raw materials, labor is not that much efficient and machines are not up to date, then how can you expect that the output of that particular product will be number one? It cannot be, it can never be. Take for example a juice factory. Suppose we are talking about a orange factory or which is manufacturing orange juice. Now if I want to have the best quality of orange juice, I have to be very careful in selecting the best quality of oranges also. Why? Because the quality of juice or the taste of juice is again dependent on the quality of orange that I am using. So I have to look for those oranges which are juicy, pulpy and tasty, so that if I am using those oranges, along with that I am investing money for capital like for machineries and other things, then finally the juice which I am producing, that is my output or that is my final product, will also be of best quality. Are you getting my point? So by increasing the input level, you can always have a increase in the output level too. Okay, that is what Alfred Marshall is trying to explain, that according to the law, according to the law, output can be changed by changing some of the factors while other factors remaining constant. Now this law can be very much applicable, for example, in the field of agriculture. Now how agriculture? Now the question comes, how agriculture? Suppose we take agriculture into consideration. Now take for example that there is a land, okay, there is a piece of land on which a farmer is cultivating crops. Now the farmer has an objective that whatever crop, suppose he is cultivating wheat, rice, veg, whatever he is cultivating, whatever may be the type of crop, his only intention is that he should get the best product. Okay, what is his product? That is the final output is his wheat or rice or any other vegetable or anything which is growing on the particular land. Now in order to improve the output or in order to change the output, he has to bring some changes in the input. Now how he will bring changes? He has to add fertilizer to the land, that is one thing. He has to use insecticides for the land so that the crops will be not destroyed by the insects. He has to increase the fertility, as I told you, fertility of the land by adding fertilizer. He has to use the best quality of technology to plow the land. Then he has to sow the seeds, or he has to sow the particular seed which is of best quality, take care of that, and if such things are done, then finally the output, that is his final product, that is the wheat or rice which is trying to cultivate in the piece of land, will definitely be a better quality or output. So that means output can be improved or output can be changed provided you are making changes in some of the factors. Now what could be the factors? That means one example I gave you, that you are making changes into the inputs, right? What are the inputs? Your raw material is an input, your machineries can be input, labor is an input. So by making such changes, your final change or the final output can also be improvised. Are you getting my point? Okay. Now let us discuss some important concepts or important terms in this law. Let us first discuss that. Okay. The first concept is total product. Total product. That is we called as capital TP. So in this particular law we have let us discuss some of the important terms. Once you understand the important terms, I'll make you more clear with the help of a diagram. Okay. Now what is total product? Total product is total product means what is the total output in a particular total output. You can write it down. Total output. Total product is total output in a particular period of time. Suppose we are saying 1 year. period may be 1 year, 2 years. So that is. So your total TP, there is one term known as TP, known as total product, which is defined as total output at a particular period of time. That is total output. Then we have average product. The second term is known as average product. Now what is average product actually? Average product is your total, like just remember this formula, it is Q by L. Now what is Q and what is L? Okay, now average product can be defined as Q by, where Q is your Q is the total product and L is your quantity, is equal to total product. Okay, Q is your total product by quantity of labor. That's why we are putting L, quantity of labor. Okay, so first term what was that? Total output. Total output or total product is your total output in a particular period of time. What is the period of time? The period of time could be, we are talking of 1 year, 2 years, whatever. So that is your total product. What is the average product? Average product is your total product by quality of labor or quantity of labor. Okay. Then is your marginal product. Next important term is your marginal product. Now what is marginal product here? Marginal product is dQ by dL. Okay, just remember dQ by dL. Now what is dQ by dL? Okay, marginal product is your dQ by A, where dQ stands for change in total product. Okay, and by change in the quantity of the product. It is talking about dQ. dQ by change is the rate of change. dQ by rate of change in the product is your marginal product. Rate of change in the product. Are you getting my point? So we have three important terms. One is your total product. Total product is what? Your total output at a given period of time. Okay. Then is the average product, where we are talking about total product by quantity of labor. Then we are talking about marginal product. dQ by dL is the rate of change in the product, is known as your dQ by dL or the marginal product. Now just for your explanation, let us consider and go through a graph. So I hope that this part you are ready. Now we are discussing, or we are trying to elaborate the law of variable proportion, which states that output can be changed by changing some of the factors while other factors remain constant. So this thing you have to keep in mind, that when we are talking about the law of variable proportion, it states that which is given by Alfred Marshall, that according to this law, output can be changed provided some of the factors of production are changed but other factors remain constant. That means what? Factors like input factors could be improvised. I just gave you an example. Suppose I am manufacturing orange juice, then I am desiring to have, or I hope that my juice are the best quality in the market, then I have to use the best quality of orange also, because the input is something related to your output. If your input is not good, you cannot have a better output. Okay, so if I am using the best quality of oranges, then I am using the latest technology, I am putting lot of labor, then the output, that is the final product, is my juice. That will be number one. Okay, now let us just have a look on a table, and that will be more clear about this particular theory or law. Just let us go through a table. What is this table? Just write down. See, this table actually is a table which explains the law of variable proportion. Just okay. The law of variable, this main explanation of law explained. Now we have taken the example of cultivation of land here. Cultivation of land. Using the example of cultivation of land, we will be discussing. Now we have one, first is your units. Just put it down. It is your units. Then is total product. Okay, total product, average product. Okay, average product. And is your last one is your what? Marginal product. Marginal product. Just now we have discussed the terms. Okay. Now units, how many units it is being produced. So units we can put as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now your total product can be just roughly we can put say 10, 22, 26, 28 like this we can put the okay. Then maybe 48, then 58. These are your total product is increasing. The average product same 10, maybe 11, 13, okay, 14. So this is your average product. Now what is the marginal product? Marginal product is okay, your marginal product is total product by the change. Now, marginal product is what? It is the rate of change of production. So here we can have 10, okay, it could be 10, 12, 14, so on it goes on. So from the diagram we can say that the total product increases in the, see your total product is the first column. This column explains the unit, that is unit number of units produced. Now try to understand the law of variable proportion, where I am trying to explain you the law of variable proportion, and we have taken the example of cultivation of land. Now I have told you that a farmer is interested to cultivate the best quality of crop or vegetation in a particular piece of land. Now you see the diagram here. This column explains your units, unit 1, 2, 3, right? Number of units produced is increase. Now come to total product. Total product is what? The total output produced in a particular period of time. Say for example, we are talking about the cultivation land of for 1 year. The period is 1 year. Now the total product of the cultivation of land is increasing, like from 10 to 22, then 26, then 28, 48, 58, you see. So what happens? TP is increasing. Now what happens to average product? Average product are also increasing, but what happens to the marginal product? You see marginal product is slowly, after some time it is diminishing. Marginal product after some time may diminish. It is coming down. So if we plot a graph here, if we plot a graph over here, now what will be the nature of graph? The nature of graph will be like this and coming down. That means total product has increased, then somewhere stagnant, then it has marginal product has come down. Now what does it? That means at first there is an increase, then next there is a constant, and again there is a decrease. Now this is the increasing part. There it is increasing total product, then here it is constant, and there it is decreasing. Are you clear? So what does the law suppose? What does the law explain? The law can be explained that, so you will get a graph like this. Increase, constant, decrease. So it will be something like this. Are you getting my point? The first stage there is slight increase in the total product. Average product also increases, but the marginal product decreases. Now what does it explain? In the first stage we see that total product, average product and the marginal product go on increasing, but at the towards the end we see that the marginal product, like the NP, is decreasing. So you can write the important points. Okay, important points or explanations of the law. Important explanations, important points. So what is the first important point is, in the first stage, TP, AP and NP are increasing. NP are increasing. So what is TP? Total product. In the first stage, your total product, average product and marginal product are increasing. Second point is that towards the end, towards the end, MP is declining. MP is what? MP is your marginal product that is declining. You can see here. Okay. And finally, after some time, MP may become negative. Now, the law of variable proportion is also known as the law of diminishing marginal return. Now, this law is also known as law of. So, could you get my point? In this example, that is cultivation of land, we saw that in the beginning, that is in the first stage, total product is increasing, average product is increasing, marginal product. But towards the end, during the later stage, we see that the marginal productivity or marginal product is declining. Now, what does it state? This law is also known as law of diminishing marginal, law of diminishing. Okay, law of diminishing marginal returns. Please remember this, marginal returns. So, this law, that is law of variable proportion, is known as law of diminishing marginal returns, and it is not only applicable only to the agriculture sector, as I gave you the explanation of cultivation of land, but it is equally applicable to industries, different sectors, manufacturing unit. Okay, you will see the same pattern of behavior when we are discussing about the law of variable proportion or law of marginal diminishing return. Now, again I will just tell you that what is this law of marginal return. Now, this law of marginal diminishing return, there is also law of diminishing marginal return. Okay, law of diminishing marginal return. Okay, or we can say law of variable proportion. The law of variable proportion or law of diminishing marginal return is a particular law that clearly explains about a very important theory or law where it says that the output can be increased provided that some of the factors are changed and other factors remaining constant. So, what do you understand by this? I told you, I gave you an example for the cultivation of land. A farmer is cultivating crops in a particular piece of land. Now, see, land is one of the factor of production. Okay. Now, suppose the farmer is interested to get the best product or output, then he has to increase his input also. Now, what is his input? Input is he has to increase the fertility of the soil. Now, how will he increase the fertility of soil? He can add some fertilizer, he has to add insecticides, he has to plow the field, he has to use the latest technology, he has to use the best quality of seeds, then he has to also improve on labor. Suppose all these things are done in a proper way, then the final output or the final product which the farmer is expecting, that is his crops, will be also, the output will be very qualitative and of the best quality. So, this law is, if you see, this law is applicable everywhere. I am not talking about only about the agriculture sector, but if you take a manufacturing unit, for example, like I gave you the example of the juice factory, or suppose we are talking about any such production house or any such production process, then, or we are talking about any business organization, there also, or an industry, or even if you take for example service sector. Now, service sector are your hospitals, hotels. Okay. Now, these service sectors, here also the law is applicable, because output can be, like, so say for example, let us talk about the hospital. Okay. Now, suppose take for example, there is a very big hospital in your town. Now, if the hospital wants to give the best output means best services to its customers or to people like you and me, then what is required? First of all, the hospital should be well built, infrastructure should be good, all the facilities should be available, there should be good doctors in the hospital, there should be good staff in the hospital, and above all, the treatment should be very good. So, if all these things are properly maintained, then the output, that is the name, fame and the process of treatment of patients, will be also very good. But if we only have a very big hospital where we don't have good doctors or where we don't have technology, we cannot ensure that the treatment of the patients will be good. So from here or from this example you can know that inputs have a direct relationship with the output, and if you want to increase the output level or if you want to enhance the output level, then you need to also make some changes in the inputs. Like I gave you the example of raw material, that is, if a company is into garment manufacturing or manufacturing of fabrics, then it has to improve the quality of thread, quality of technology, technique, because without improving this part or without making changes in some of the factors of production, the output cannot be enhanced or changed. Is it clear? And in this particular example of this cultivation of land, what we have observed is, number one, the total product. What is total product? Total product is the what? And total product is the total production made in a particular period of time. Now the total production is increasing according to the unit, and the average product is also increasing. What is average product? Average product is your total product by the quantity of labor. But what happens to the marginal product? Your marginal product goes on decreasing or declining towards the end. That means what? Why it is declining? Can you have some guesses? Because the fertility of land might be less, or there may be some of the other factors which are responsible for declining of the marginal product. So in this example we see that the total product is increasing in the initial stage, total product is increasing, average product is increasing, okay, and after sometimes it is at a constant. Like I told you, I gave you a graph where we see that it is increasing, then it is constant, then again it is declining. Okay, here it is increasing, here it is constant, then declining. Okay, and towards the end, you see towards the last stage, this is your first stage, this is your second stage, and this is your third stage. Now in the first stage what we see, there is an increase, a sharp increase in the total product, average product and marginal product. In the second stage we see that there is some kind of constancy. Constancy means the production is uniform. Now or the total product MP and AP are uniform. But when you come to the end towards the third stage, the MP is declining. That means marginal product is declining. Now what it states? This is also known as law of diminishing marginal returns, and it states that towards the end of the cycle, the marginal productivity or the marginal product is declining. And this law is applicable not only to the sector of agriculture, but it is equally applicable to your manufacturing units, to industries and to service sectors also. Is it clear? So this is all about your law of variable proportion. I hope that you have understood the law, what is the basic idea of the law, how it operates and what exactly it wants to say. Please remember, first important point is the law of variable proportion is given by Alfred Marshall. First thing you have to remember that we gave the law. Second most important is, what does the law actually state? The law actually states that what? The output can be changed provided the other factors or other things are changed, and some of the other factors are like, that means what? Some of the factors we can change, but other factors you have to keep constant. Then only the output can be changed. Change in a sense, it can be increase or decrease. Change can be anything. Second important thing it is saying that, very important is, if there is an increase in the amount of input, suppose we are giving some increase in the amount of input, say for example labor, raw material, machine, then the output could also be increased. And then what we did, we discussed three important terms, that is total product, average product and margin. Total product is the total output of a firm or total output of a agriculture or of a sector in a per period, that doesn't matter particular period of time. Average product is total product by the quantity of labor. then marginal product is what is the change in the product, that is rate of change in total product from using an additional, like if an additional unit is used, then what will be the change in the product is the marginal product. Are you getting my point? So marginal product explains what will be the change of product if one additional product is included in the process. And with the help of the diagram and with the help of the table, we have observed certain very important things. Okay, what is the first observation? First observation is that in the initial stage, total product, average product and marginal product go on increasing, like I have told you just now. Okay, in the second stage, we see that there is a constancy, means there is a uniformity. Mane total product is at a constant level, average product constant level, marginal product constant level. But towards the last stage or towards the end, we see that there is a decline. What is the decline? There is a decline in your marginal product. Now what is the decline? With each additional unit, the marginal product has come down. So this is also known as law of diminishing marginal returns. Is it clear? Please remember this word, law of diminishing marginal returns, which can be very clearly explained with the help of diagram and the example as I stated just now. And this law is not only applicable to your cultivation or agriculture, but it is equally applicable for the other sectors, industries and service sectors. Is it clear? Now, what is the reason? Like why the MP decreases or declines? So one of the reasons could be like all the factors of like reason. This last part we will discuss. Now why? Question is why this happens? Why this happens? First is that, first one of the most important reason is all the variable factors may not be homogeneous. All the, just note it down, all the variable factors. I have told you what are the variable factors here, raw materials, machines, labor, these are variable factors. All the variable factors may not be homogeneous, may not be homogeneous in nature. Okay, so all the variable factors like your labor, machineries, other inputs may not be homogeneous in nature because they may differ in the nature, they may be heterogeneous. Homogeneous is opposite heterogeneous. So if they are not homogeneous, then this kind of behavior will be reflected. Second important thing is sometimes your combinations may be wrong. My combination in a sense what? Combinations may be wrong. May be wrong. Now what combinations? Combination here is like your combination of raw material, combination of machine or the combination of your process, okay, production. So there may be some defect in that and due to this that it may happen. And the third important reason is sometimes it may be due to imperfect substitution. Imperfect substitution. Please remember these three important things. This behavior, that is the law of diminishing marginal returns, happens due to these three important. One is that all the variable factors may not be homogeneous in the nature. Factors may have different nature, different characteristics and features. Second, combinations may be wrong. Like what combinations or permutations you are making for the process may sometimes be proved wrong. And the third important factor is imperfect substitution. Like if you are using some substitute product or substitute factor for the process, that it may not be perfect and may not yield or may not give you the desired result. So assumptions, what assumptions are made at the end is the units of variable factor homogeneous and there is possibility of change. There must be no change in the level of technology, and this particular law can be studied for a particular short period only. It cannot be studied for a long period process or for a long. Okay. So that means what? The law of variable proportion holds good only when we are trying to understand this behavior relationship for a shorter period. And another important thing to keep in mind is there should not be any change in the level of technology. Technology has to be maintained. Third is there could be possibility of changes in the factors and the units of variable factors will homogeneous. So if all these things takes place, then only we can discuss the law of variable proportion. So please remember, the law of variable proportion or the law of diminishing marginal returns takes place due to this reason, that is lack of homogeneous nature in the factors, combinations may be wrong, and there may be some imperfect substitutions. Is it clear? So with this we finish your law of invariable proportion, and we have also discussed your we have finished discussing the part of your factors of production, and then we have completed what is production, then we discussed the production functions, and then we completed the law of variable proportion. Next class we are going to discuss another important law, that is your law of return of sale. So it is another very simple law which we are going to take up in the next class. So in my next class I am going to talk about law of return to sale, and this law is also somewhat related to law of variable proportion. So if we are 100% clear with the law of variable proportion, how it operates, what does it mean, what is actually the law states, if we are 100% comfortable with that, you can very well understand the law of return of sale, because law of return of sale talks about the relationship between output and input in a long period. Like I told you, see, law of variable proportion is discussed only for a shorter period. But law of return of sale, we are going to discuss the same kind of behavior or understanding or relationship between input to output, but we will be discussing for a long period. Hope you could understood from this class. Next class we will have the law of return of sale. Okay. Thank you so much.